Hi, Rita.
Hi, Chris.
Could you tell us about BMRT, what it's about?
Okay, so BMRT is something I developed in November 2020. I think 27th of November 2020. Um, of course, I've studied many different modalities. I've studied, I'm an accident and emergency nurse practitioner, so my background is pretty medical to begin with. I've been a qualified reflexologist. I have done HNLP, NLP, a psyche, body code, emotion code, brain spotting, Donna Eden, anatomy and motion, many extended courses with bone therapy. I've studied EMIT, or done one basic module of that. So I've done lots and lots of different therapies and had a very successful practice here in Belgium from I started probably in about 2006, 2007. And I think what came to mind was that physically, I began to notice that I would help people, they would be better, but maybe problems would come back or they would come back in a different way. So that's when I got into the mind. And with all the learnings of that, yeah, made amazing changes. But if I'm honest, I always felt there was something missing. And the missing bit for me was that I felt there was not enough attention being given to the primitive brain and the fear response. And as those of us that know about science, we say that neurons that wire together fire together. So if the firing is still happening for some event or perceived event, then the person is still going to be in a fight, flight, fawn, freeze reaction. So I was always wondering, yeah, how could I get to that? And then one day I had an idea and I thought, I wonder if I did this with that, with a bit of that and a bit of that, and I put it all together in a particular formula. And it was just like magic. It was like instantaneous. People's traumas were recovered literally instantaneously. And what I mean by that is that I would assess with the patient, I've got this memory and I've got a feeling, I feel uncomfortable, I feel really scared, I feel whatever. And I would do the technique of BMRT, and afterwards they were unable to access their feeling, which was their fear. Now, on top of that, I'm doing kinesiology muscle testing. I'm watching their biofield, what they're doing in their biofield, and I'm watching their body language as well. So we've got four ways of assessing whether or not they are now in a better state or recovered. And that is where I then give it the name body mind reset technique, because I'm using the body to reset the mind, to reset traumas, limiting beliefs, feelings, emotions that have been harboring for years. So that's where it started in 2020. And then I followed the work of Gabor Mate. I followed some seminars online with him. And I love Gabor's work and how he explains about attachment and true self. So I have taken his theories and put them into my work so that we are able to go back to the fundamentals of where it all started. And then, of course, the work of Bruce Lipton. I was fortunate enough to meet Bruce last year. And all of his works about how our beliefs create our reality, but also about epigenetics. So, bit by bit, everything is changing. I also give attention to Wayne Dyer and many other people, Caroline Miss. There are lots of other people out there that I follow and that I use the knowledge I've gained from their work to put it into BMRT in a way that we can have protocols, we have tools that we can immediately disconnect from previous problems. And what that does, if we follow the work of Hans Selye, it means that the adaptation syndrome, so the adaptation of the body to the next stress, is improved. And the result of that is often recovery of conditions. And that is a fairly big statement to make. And I have many clients that come in with pain. And once I get to all of these fundamental issues which are resolved, they often walk out of here pain free. And I know for many people it's quite unbelievable to think that can happen. And it's a regular occurrence, whether it be a headache, a migraine, an allergy. 2 days ago, I had a lady who she has allergies to all fruits that have a seed or a stone. Obviously, she's done lots of allergy tests. She has tingling, swollen lips, everything. And once I did a BMRT reset on her, I got a text message from her 2 hours later saying I went home and ate an apple and it's fine. And that is a regular occurrence for me. It's no longer the phenomenon, it is the norm for me. So BMRT has developed in 2 years. It's all I ever use in my practice, 98% of the time. I occasionally do a little bit of Bowen work, but for the rest, it's all BMRT. And the course has evolved because people were asking me to teach it. So now we have, to date, we have 54 people trained. By the end of the year, I hope it'll be 120. And next year, we're hoping to go more international. We're hoping to reach out to Canada, perhaps, and Washington, and perhaps into Asia. So BMRT, yeah, it's my baby. I've developed the technique, and actually, it's for everybody to share. So the reason for me putting it out to the world is because it is just so phenomenal in resolving stress levels, in bringing people back to their true authentic self. That's BMRT.
Thank you. So Rita, who's the course suitable for? Who would you advise it to?
Right. So when I began, I thought it was just a course for people who wanted to practice it as a modality within their own scope of business. Very quickly, I learned that people were telling me that it's actually a self-development course, that the actual 5 days changes them as people, improves their life, makes them more confident, everything. So I think for anybody, really. Of course, if you're currently working with people, you're a body worker, or you already work with like hypnotherapy or the mind in some way, then it's absolutely for you, because I think BMRT is the tool that I've met a lot of my colleagues, and I talk about psychotherapists and psychologists that are people I know, that it's the tool that they miss. They know exactly what they need to be doing, they know exactly where the problem is, but that ability to disconnect the primitive brain is not there. So anybody can do it. And of course, the course has a mix. Last course that we ran, we had somebody aged 20 on the course and we had somebody aged 78, both of whom had no previous experience, both of whom who can do the technique at the end. Of course, there's a lot of self-learning after the course to where you want to bring it to yourself. But the idea is, and that was my intention, at the end of 5 days, every single person knows how to do the technique by the time they leave. And that is what we've achieved. And on top of that, after the course, we have a WhatsApp group, which is a support network. I hold Zoom meetings every month or 2 months where we can fit it in for people to ask me questions so I can follow up learning with it. And every time that I've run the course now 3 times, there's new stuff developing. I'm learning, I'm continuing to develop, so there's new stuff coming all the time. But that will be available on the back of the website. Eventually, we intend to have some sort of library there where everybody who's done the course has got the opportunity to be on the site. So anybody really can do the course, anybody at all. Previous knowledge, no previous knowledge.